Welcome, everybody. Josh from the Clearing Waivers podcast back with you for another week. We appreciate having you. We got a great show lined up here for you. We got Max Rieper from Royals Review. Jump back on the show with us again. He was the first guest we ever had for the Clearing Waivers podcast, and we did not scare him off or insult him or offend him in any way. So he decided to come back on. So we had a great interview with him, and then we got some more great shenanigans for you this week as well. But before we get to that, we do want to. I always like to check in with you guys. We've been running a little long on our intros this week, so I asked you guys to prepare one word to describe your week since the last time we talked to you. So on the count of three, just say it. So 1, 2, 3.
Sports.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Let's move on to clearing the waivers. Basically, it's just going to be the Max Rieper interview, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it to that interview. But before I do that, I do want to encourage everybody. We had Adam Summer on the podcast last week to fill in for Rance. He does that at the Heartland Pod. Definitely go check it out once you're done with listening to us this week. It's at all the podcast providers that near you. Basically just takes a look at local government issues, and with the primaries coming up, the elections coming up in November, it's very interesting and a good way to kind of become informed in what you might be voting for at some point. So pretty mostly, for the most part, nonpartisan, but they do have their biases. But this last episode, they kind of focused on the Amendment 2 that I believe is both in Missouri and in Kansas. I think is the expansion of Medicaid. They also had Joe Poore of the River Rat Democrats. So definitely a great episode. Go check that out before you go to the polls, become a more informed voter. But shout out to the Heartland Pod. With that, let's go to the interview with Max Rieper. Welcome. We have our first, I guess, the very first guest we've ever had. And it's fitting that he's the very first recurring guest that we've ever had. Max Rieper of Royals Review, also the host of Royals Review Radio on the SB Nation umbrella. Max, I do appreciate you joining us. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's great to be back here. I am on vacation in Colorado this week, but I made it a point to be on the Clearing Waivers podcast because that's how much I believe in the show. And I thank you for remembering I was the first guest. So because of that, that's why I keep coming back.
If you guys need any kind of reference, Max Rieper's cameo to make him say whatever you want is about 35 cents. It was very affordable, and he is a resounding. We can
negotiate it down to 25, really.
Okay.
I mean,
Deal. Yeah, sounds great to me. Well, we do appreciate. We wanted you, with the Royals kind of keep getting in the full swing, we wanted to kind of get your thoughts on the short, I guess, 11 game sample size that we've kind of gotten so far. Kind of get your thoughts on all that, but. I guess let's start right there. I guess through these 11 games, what are your initial thoughts on how the Royals have been looking? Do you see anything that, you kind of expected more from or expected less from? Or I guess what's your overall thoughts about the Royals so far?
My thoughts is that I feel like Charlie Brown kicking the football, because we came into the season saying, hey, 60 games shortened season, anything could happen.
100%.
Royals get off to a good start. And, with the young pitchers, you don't know what could happen. I mean, anything could happen. And, of course, silly me. I mean, we should have known that not anything can happen. The Royals are going to stumble out of the gate like they usually do. And, there's a couple good games. And, the first couple games look kind of solid. And you're like, especially the Brady Singer starting Cleveland.
Yes.
Where they won in extra innings. And you're like, okay, these guys can fight and claw. And they've got some talent. And then since then, we've just kind of seen the wheels come off. And it's not just one thing either. It's been – the starting pitching has been decimated. The relief pitching has been, I think, better than expected, but there's still some obvious weaknesses there. The lineup, which I had some reservations about going into this season, has been probably worse than I thought. And the defense, which I kind of forgot about, has been really disastrous. I mean,
atrocious.
It says it all. I mean, it's atrocious is the right word for it. And that's kind of, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised because there's a lot of guys out there that don't have great defensive reps. Like Maikel Franco kind of came here, and what I had heard from Phillies fans is like, yeah, he's pretty lackadaisical at times. His tools aren't great. Ryan O'Hearn, we knew wasn't quite wasn't going to win Gold Gloves at first base.
Yep.
But some of the miscues are a little surprising. Nicky Lopez making a gaffe Whit Merrifield kind of being uncharacteristic and kind of trying to backhand a ground ball and making a silly error. So that's been kind of disappointing to see, just kind of mental lapses and poor defense, for a team that's kind of prided themselves on defense in the past. So, just really, a lot of red flags around the field. On the other hand, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that you look at and you're like, okay, there's some talent on this club. I mean, Jorge Soler's continue to hit. Perez is kind of back. The same guy he was before. Not going to get on base, but he's going to hit for power, and he's hitting for some good pop right now.
Yep.
Obviously Brady Singer has looked really impressive. Chris Bubich looked pretty solid, I think, in his first start. There's some guys in the bullpen that look pretty intriguing. So you look at those guys, and you're like, why are they struggling out of the gate so much? And I think it's just like those black holes on the roster are just really dragging them down. And I think perhaps we maybe overlooked that going into this season. But it just kind of shows how little depth they have, especially. And in fairness, they've had some guys out because of COVID.
Yeah.
But a lot of teams have had that.
Right.
And they just don't have the depth to withstand that.
Yep. The just for reference, the defense is third worst in UZR per 150. Yeah. And they are tied for the least amount of defensive run saves at -4. And that has changed. Last night they made up a run. So they were in dead last night, and then they did make up a little bit. So it's still not great, very uncharacteristic of a Dayton Moore team. And, I mean, it's just very – I totally forgot about it. Like you said, we had convinced ourselves anything is possible, but I had totally forgotten about how one part clicks and then the other three don't. They go completely by the wayside. And then we might get starting pitching back, and then the offense completely cannot hit with runners in scoring position. It's just I totally forgot about that was a possibility all along, if not the most likely outcome.
Well, we should be used to, as Royals fans, we should be used to like what can go wrong will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess we probably should have seen some of this coming. But, the defense is really mystifying because, like, Alex Gordon has been one of the best defenders in baseball still, and by the metrics. Salvador Perez looks pretty solid in his return.
Yep. Ryan O'Haron has made some great plays.
Yeah, he's looked solid at times. So it's I think it's more like the weak spots on this team are really weak more than like it's been a very uneven badness on this team.
Yep.
We talked a little bit last week about it. We found out very early. Basically, the first series, you saw some big differences between Mike Matheny's approach and what we've all been used to in under #Yoasted. So I want to know what stuck out to you, the biggest difference you've seen between Matheny versus the years under Yost.
It's been pretty night and day, which is not what I was expecting. So, when Matheny first got hired, I think we kind of not a lot of people were surprised. I think because he had been hired as a special advisor. And he did kind of fit what Dayton Moore seems to like in a manager, kind of an old school approach, gritty player when he was a catcher for the National League for a long time. Certainly placed an emphasis on values. And so I thought, when he came to Kansas City, he'd manage kind of like how he did in St. Louis, which he had some success there, but he also kind of crashed and burned near the end, had a lot of criticism on how he handled the media, how he handled the pitching staff, how he handled relationships in his clubhouse. So I think we just kind of thought that would happen here in Kansas City, or at least he would bring that same kind of approach. And he's been totally different, which is refreshing and interesting to watch. Because he said he had learned a lot from St. Louis and kind of said all the right things. And I think we hear that and we're like, okay, a lot of people say they'll change and they kind of revert back to their old ways. But he's lived up to it the first 2 weeks at least. And it's been interesting to watch. Just we've seen it, like he's handled the pitching staff, kind of the new analytical way of getting starting pitchers out before they face the lineup through the third time. So he pulled Danny Duffy out really early on that opening day start. He's pulled some of his other starters by the fifth inning. He's used his relievers in unconventional roles. So it's not like Yost where he has a seventh inning guy, an eighth inning guy, and a ninth inning guy, and he's going to pitch Kelvin Herrera in the seventh inning, no matter where they are in the lineup, or no matter what the game looks like. He's going to pitch Wade Davis in the eighth, and he's going to pitch Greg Hall in the ninth. Matheny's taken, I think, really a more intuitive approach, which is like pitch your best pitcher when the game's on the line. If that's in the sixth inning when there's two guys on, then pitch him in the 6th inning. If it's in the 8th inning, pitch him in the 8th inning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been really, that I think has been the biggest thing. That's what I've kind of wanted to see for a while, because if you watch college baseball, that's how they manage in college baseball, or any level of baseball, other than Major League Baseball, where guys need rigid bullpen roles to be able to do their job. And so it's nice to see a manager kind of putting guys in that spot. And the bullpen, give them a lot of credit for buying in, because Ian Kennedy is a guy who came off a pretty good year as a closer, and he could have been like, look, I know what you're trying to do, Mike Matheny, but I'm the 9th inning guy. I've already earned that.
Yep.
I'm going into free agency. I need those saves going into next year. And he's seemingly buying in. He said a lot of great things about Matheny so far. So I'm pretty encouraged by that. The lineup, I think he's taken some interesting approach to the lineup, trying to pinch hit a lot of guys. Some of that maybe to win games because of matchups, because I think some of that's just to get development, get some of these guys, get their feet wet at the big league level a little bit. So, this is a season where you really need a lot of creativity and innovation to handle what's a really weird situation. And it's been very refreshing to see Matheny take that approach. We'll see. When we get a more conventional year, maybe he goes back to kind of being an old school manager. But, there are a lot of things we can learn from this year. If some of these approaches will work, some of them won't work. And this is kind of the year you find that out. And I for a team that's already 6 games back in the standings, it's probably not a bad idea to try everything you can. So
let's do it. Throw it all at the wall.
Try anything that seems, as long as it works, that's fine. So, I think it's been great. I think most Royals fans are willing to give him a chance. And so far, to me, he's really earned it. I mean, he's done a really, you look at the win-loss record, obviously, it doesn't look great, but I wouldn't put that on him. The roster is not going to be great anyway. So I think he's done a pretty good job so far. Solid B effort, I think, for what he has, for the context. And I'm pretty pleased with what he's done.
And I thought we saw some encouraging signs in Monday night's game when Duffy was out there. We saw that Matheny's not going to be rigid in the fact that we're following the numbers, we're following the same approach, and I'm not going to change. I'm going to stay with this. It's almost like he had a conversation with Duffy after the last start when Duffy was visibly upset with coming out of the game as first sign of trouble. And we saw Monday night, he had the bases loaded with no outs, and Matheny left him out there. He had a guy in the pen in case, but he let Duffy out there. Duffy gets out of the inning, only giving up a run. So I'm encouraged that he's not so stubborn and stuck in his ways, that maybe he can kind of toe that line of being a player's manager and a numbers guy. So I'm pretty excited about that. Just seeing it's quite the opposite of Ned Yost and his stubbornness and spitefulness, it seems at times. Even though the players love playing for him, it was so maddening to watch.
No, I think that's a great point. I think one of the worst things you can get with a manager is one that just pushes buttons. It's like, okay, well, this situation, I'm doing this, and doesn't matter the context. And you're right. Leaving Duffy in a little bit longer, and there could have been other information we're not privy to, like how he faced the Cubs, or how he was feeling that particular night. But yeah, I think adapting to the situation is important too. And you're right. I think what is going to be really important to see is how he handles that clubhouse, because say what you will about Ned Yost, but that would seem to be a strength, is handling that clubhouse, learning how to manage those 25 personalities, make sure everyone was happy on the same page. And Matheny, that was probably the biggest criticism of him in St. Louis.
Yep.
A lot of players, there was a lot of rumors of a tense clubhouse, and he didn't have a great relationship with some of his top players. So, hopefully he's learned a lot from that. He's got some challenges ahead of him right now. He's going to have to get some of these guys started. Like Adalberto Mondesi's off to a really slow start. And there may be a lot of mental aspect to that, because he's kind of making kind of silly miscues, and it doesn't seem like his head's on straight yet. So that may be a big challenge for him going forward. How do we get this guy going? How do we handle the playing time situation in the outfield, where you have Alex Gordon, a veteran, who's playing pretty well, but you also want to see some of the younger guys like Brett Phillips and Bubba Starling and Franchi Cordero. How do you handle this pitching staff with all these personalities and a decimated staff, and try to get the most out of them? So yeah, there's a lot of challenges dealing with those personalities, and we'll have to see how he handles it. But yeah, that is a very encouraging sign. And I didn't think about, you're right, the Duffy seemed a little upset about it being taken out on opening day, and it was great to see him see Matheny adapt to that.
And it's certainly, you wrote a very good article over at Royals Review last week, kind of comparing and seeing, kind of breaking down what Matheny has done so far. So I would highly encourage all the Sink Pisters out there to go check out on royalsreview.com. Max did a great write-up on that. So kind of going back to that rotation being decimated. Obviously, Keller and Junis have both spent time with the COVID positive tests, leaving basically just Duffy, Singer, and then Montgomery, and then Montgomery went on the IL, and then Foster Griffin stepped in, and then he went on the IL. So it's certainly been estimated the bullpen so far has pitched the most innings pitched by a bullpen in the league, even if you don't count like the starters innings, like the Zimmer and the Bolaños innings. But what do you think in 1 month? I saw earlier they have now left the 28-man expanded rosters as going to be the new norm instead of cutting it down to the 26. So what do you think this rotation is going to look like in a month after the day or a couple days after the trade deadline? Might be some guys gone. Just assuming everyone's healthy, who are your 5 guys that you're going to? Or maybe it's 4.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously a lot of that depends on health at this point. We just don't know who's going to be back. And I guess Keller's coming back in a couple of days, so that's an encouraging sign. So, and so we don't know what the situation is going to be. They're going to have to be creative and adapt to whatever the situation is. But I think going forward, I think Duffy, Brad Keller, and Jacob Junis, they're the locks in the rotation. I don't see a lot of trade activity this year.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. I mean, it's a shortened year. I don't know if teams are going to be giving up much for, a championship that may or may not happen. Is there going to be a World Series for sure? Who knows?
Good point.
Is anyone going to treat it as a legitimate World Series? I don't know. So, and I don't see Dayton Moore as a guy that's going to give up Danny Duffy for just a token prospect just because he wants to move a guy. Yep. So I expect those 3 to still be in the rotation. I think Singer he's looked really good in his 2 starts. And unless he just totally implodes at this point, which I don't see happening, he seems like he'll be in the rotation as well. That 5th spot, I mean, it could be a revolving door. I mean, Mike Montgomery would seem to have the inside track. He's not looked really solid in his last exhibition start and his first regular season start. That could have been because of an injury.
Yeah.
But he's had some trouble as a starter the last couple of years. I don't know that the upside's real high there. And with Chris Bubich pitching pretty well his first outing, perhaps they want to go with the younger arm. Honestly, I think Bubich is kind of a temporary. I don't think they really want to get him a ton of innings this year. Yeah. But you're saying like a month from now, I mean, he could still be in there. I saw enough that I think he could at least hold his own at the big league level. You probably have to keep him at that 4 or 5 inning level, per start level. But yeah, that was a pretty encouraging sign. I think he really reminds me a lot of Jason Vargas. Relying a lot on that changeup. Has to be a little crafty and hit his spots really well. But, he seemed to do that. Probably going to have some trouble against right-handed hitters, but there's a lot to like in that start, I think. So, I think that 5th spot's really going to come down to Montgomery and Bubich. But, who knows if Jackson Coar is sitting around the corner or Daniel Lynch. I certainly think those are possibilities. You may see them actually maybe get their feet wet in the bullpen. Yeah. And I wouldn't totally rule out Asa Lacy. I know they've kind of dismissed it. And I know he's not even at the alternate side. He's at home in Texas. Yeah. But who knows? Everything's on the table at this point. So, it seems like I think they feel like they owe Mike Montgomery an opportunity because they kind of acquired him with the thinking like, okay, you're going to be our starter. But if he continues to struggle and Bubich looks pretty good, then that's going to force the issue. So it's nice to have those kind of options.
Yes. The wild card there is the fact that the only left-hander currently in the bullpen is Spire, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think
Lovelady's been up and down, and then
Lovelady's been up and down. I expect Randy Rosario once he's healthy to be back. But Spire's kind of been a mixed bag too. So and Montgomery has been good as a reliever. So maybe you say you send him back to the bullpen to get some more depth out there. But
if you keep getting blown up at the starting spot and he's going in, it's a contract year for him. So I mean, if he wants to try to build a resume for whatever his next contract is.
Montgomery, I think they've got him for a couple years. I think.
Oh, do they have another year with him?
Yeah, I believe I could be wrong, but I believe they have him for a couple of years.
Okay.
But yeah, and considering how short the starters are going, like they kind of need a long man out there. So Kyle Zimmer looked like he could be that guy, but having a guy like Montgomery would really help in that regard as well.
Zimmer teasing us again.
I mean, I kind of made a similar assumption to you that if we're looking at a month out, if Montgomery's ready, Bubich has got options and he's a super young guy. They just kind of make that choice easy. But then I saw the quote from Dayton Moore that said prior to everything shutting down spring training they were going to find a way to get Bubic in the rotation or on this team by late June or late July. So, I mean, that maybe leaves the door open to maybe they do just commit to Bubic, and even though it'd piss off Montgomery to go back to the bullpen where he doesn't want to be, maybe that's the move. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, and I think Clint Scholes at Royals Academy had mentioned that he had heard that Matheny really wanted to take Bubic out of camp, like back in March.
Wow.
That he was like kind of lobbying for him to make the rotation. So yeah, they really like what they see out of him. The other thing is, a lot of times these things kind of work themselves out. You know, like probably someone's going to get hurt.
Yep.
You hope no one gets COVID by then, but someone's probably going to be hurt or ineffective enough that they kind of make that decision for you. So, you know, the best way to have a 5-man rotation is to have like 7 or 8 options. And so, you know, the good thing is they kind of have some options out there. I would like to see Jackson Carr get an opportunity at some point.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised Bubic got called up ahead of him, but
yeah.
But you know, we could see him at some point as well.
I heard Cody Tapp was talking about like he always thought that Bubic would make it before Kowar and Lynch, and I was like you. I thought it would totally be Kowar before Bubic. I mean, Bubic was never above A+. He did really good, but I mean, it's just wild that he got. I mean, a guy as good as Kowar gets leapfrogged by Bubic, who's only been in high A. Just kind of wild to me, but yeah.
Well, it's kind of good too because it shows that Bubic maybe doesn't have the pedigree of Kowar, but he had results. Like he led the league, he led all the minors in strikeouts. And I think if you're another minor leaguer, you know, the one thing I hear a lot in the minors is like, I'm better than this guy. I'm putting up better numbers, but he's getting promoted because he's their first-round pick or second-round pick, and I was a 15th-round pick. And so I think it's a better signal to send to guys that like, okay, this guy produced. He's getting his chance, and we're going to see what he can do. And if he produce, we'll give you a chance. Tyler Zuber is another good example of that guy. He put up good numbers in the minors. Maybe wasn't like a guy that was drafted high, but he produced, and he's doing a pretty good job at the big league level. And I think it's good to have an organization that does send that signal to minor leaguers that, you know, results matter.
Yep. I like it.
And I mean, we talked a little bit about there's been some promising signs in the bullpen, but overall, if you look at bullpen numbers, as Josh said, we lead the majors in bullpen innings. Because the starting staff has been decimated, we've had multiple openers instead of talking about that 5th spot being maybe an opener spot. We've had multiple spots in the rotation be opener, and they just get blown up, it seems like, every time they've gone with that approach. But now that we're kind of getting these guys back, we're getting Keller back, actually getting guys that you believe can go 5 and 6 innings, can we say maybe it's not the same old crappy bullpen that we've always, you know, been watching the past couple of years? Can we say when we can reduce that bullpen, less is more, we get less inning pitch out of the bullpen, we can pitch our more effective guys a lot more often? Could this bullpen look a whole lot better once this staff is back together?
Yeah, I think that's right because the best pitchers in the pen look pretty solid. Like Rosenthal has been really solid. Greg Holland, up until his last outing, looked pretty solid. He's going to have some outings like that, I think. But overall, his stuff has looked pretty good. You know, Tyler Zuber, I mentioned, looked solid. Kyle Zimmer looked really good his last time out. Josh Stallmont, I mean, he was just wowing the Cubs broadcasting staff. And I mean, where did that come from? I know we knew he had that stuff, but just to see that was really a delight to watch. So they've got some guys out there. The problem is your bullpen's kind of only as good as your weakest link, and their weakest link's pretty weak right now. I mean,
you can choose probably 3 or 4 weakest links at the moment.
I mean, like, I don't know how much longer we have to watch Jorge Lopez out there, but you know, he may not have.
Probably in there too.
Glenn Sparkman is, you know, and I know they really were hyping his stuff in spring training, but he's a pretty hittable guy. I mean, he's a guy that's going to get hit around a lot. So, you know, if we see less of those guys because we see less innings out of the bullpen in general, I think that could help things a lot. And look, the bullpen is an area where they can improve a lot just because it's been so bad the last 2 years. So that, you know, having those performances from Rosenthal and Barlow and Kennedy, the holdovers who were pretty good last year, and Greg Holland, if he can kind of be a little more consistent, that could go a huge way, you know, a long way towards improving this team. But there's an adage, and I think it's Bill James talking about bullpen usage is like, the more relievers you use, the more you're going to find one guy that doesn't have it that day. It seems like every game we find the guy that doesn't have it that day.
Yep.
So, you know, I think you make a good point. Just tightening that up, having fewer guys out there, and maybe just sticking with your best guns in tight, you know, situations. is probably going a long way towards helping them be more competitive. So I would like to see that going forward. Unfortunately, circumstances haven't really allowed that to happen so far. You can't really, blame that too much in the bullpen. They kind of are what they are at this point.
Yep. That I think I made the point in that last boldest predictions article I wrote on Royals Review that I think they were 11-23 last year as a 100-loss team, and 11-23 in one-run games. So if you can throw out a stack or a really good stacked bullpen, like it seems like they have at the back, then you're in games longer. You're going to win more of those games, and you're just going to improve in that. It'll be that easy, I think, at that point to take at least one step forward in that direction.
And not only that, but just think of the games they've gotten blown out where they've had, they're close, and then a 7-run 7th inning takes the game out of their hands, and they need to avoid those situations. If they're more competitive down the stretch, then into the 9th inning, then they have a chance to win it. Now, the lineup probably needs to step up and not leave so many guys in scoring position and draw some more walks, but at least it gives them a better shot to win games. You can't win games when you're down 11-4 going into the 8th or 9th inning. So.
Yep. Well, kind of the impact I was getting at there. I think the two big names that I think are going to have the biggest impact for their return is Hunter Dozier, obviously, and Brad Keller. And I wanted to know which one of the two returns is going to have the bigger impact in your head.
Yeah, that's a tough question. Because I think the lineup is really hurting without Dozier right now. They just don't seem to have a run producer in the middle of the lineup. Soler can kind of only do so much. Merrifield's been doing great, but no one's getting him home.
Yep.
They really need like a guy like Mondesi to kind of step up and be that guy. So they are missing Dozier a lot, I think. But I think just not having Keller, the rotation has been so kind of decimated. They've had to go to that bullpen, so much, and that really has a chain reaction. Because you don't have Keller in there now, you got to use Bolaños, and Bolaños doesn't have it that day, now you have to use Kyle Zimmer out there for 3 innings.
Jorge Lopez.
Jorge Lopez, and now or you got Zimmer out there for 3 innings, he's not available the next day, so you have to use someone else, and so that has a chain reaction, I think, on down, and it helps to have a 30-man roster as they have right now, but still. Not having a guy like Keller at least give you 5 or 6 good innings every night or every 5th night, that I think that hurts quite a bit. So I think they are missing him a little bit more, and they've kind of had to scramble. And that's kind of been the theme I think early on in this season is just number one stranding base runners, which I guess Dozier would help, but also just scrambling in the pitching staff, just trying to find enough arms to fill these innings. So I think Keller could help a lot. And so hopefully when we see him come back, which should be soon, we'll see a little more stability there.
Yep.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, I think a casual baseball fan probably just looks at the stands and says, well, that's the same old Royals type stuff. But you're talking about adding our number 3 or number 4 hitter to the lineup and our top starting pitcher to this team. So maybe this crappy version of the team we've been watching the past week, maybe it's not that crappy once you add 2 of your best players back in the mix.
Right. No, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, that's a big loss to a team. Like you're losing your best pitcher. And Junis, too. They lost 2 of their best starting pitchers and their best hitter. That's going to be a blow to any team. Now, like I said, a lot of teams have guys out, and the Royals just don't have the depth to kind of paper over that. But I think a lot of teams would be hurting if they miss those kind of players. So, yeah, I think that should explain. I think they will bounce back a little bit once they get those guys back.
Yep.
And then the math comes, and even though they've trimmed it, 30 to 28, we're no longer going to 26. So maybe the roster won't be quite as crunched as we thought it would be before. But there's no doubt once Dozier comes back, one of these position guys is probably going to get squeezed out, whether it be on the 28-day crunch down or even before that if he comes back before. But we're looking directly at you, Franchy Cordero, Brett Phillips, Bubba Starling, and even Nicky Lopez. Even though all offseason we heard Nicky's ready to break out, Matheny's probably played him in only like half the games, so I don't know if he's a guaranteed lock for this once cutdowns come. But where's your head on who makes this team?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think what you would say from Dayton Moore's past is that he's a big guy on inventory, meaning he doesn't want to let a guy go unless he has to. So if you look at the outfield situation with Cordero, Phillips, and Starling. Phillips and Starling are the 2 guys that don't have options left, so if you can't send them to the alternate site. Which, by the way, that sounds like a weird Twilight Zone. We're sending it to the alternate site.
You become part of the others, like in Lost.
So I won't get used to that. Yeah, I'm not used to that. So anyway, to basically get shipped off the roster, you need to have options, or else you get exposed to waivers. Now, I don't think there's a high chance that Bubba Starling gets claimed off waivers. He's 27. He's got a career OPS plus of like 50. I mean, he's just not, he's got
passed
some
through
tools.
once already.
Yeah, so it's not like he's like hot property that teams are going to be looking at. But, there are 30-man rosters, and if there is even a chance, I think the Royals kind of want to avoid that possibility if they can. So Cordero has options, and, I think based on what Dayton Moore's done in the past, you kind of think maybe Cordero would be the one set down just to maybe get some more regular swings at the alternate side maybe. But, I mean, Starling hasn't really looked – he's shown some signs, but I don't think it's enough to, like, warrant keeping him on the roster. Phillips, I think, has looked a little bit better, but for whatever reason, they don't seem to want to give him more playing time, and maybe he doesn't really have a spot on this roster. And I think Cordero does show enough that, like, you want to put him in the starting lineup every day just to see what he can do and work on his swing, work on his game a little bit. If it was up to me, I'd probably send Starling out. I don't know what they're going to do. I think I could see them sending Phillips out because it just doesn't seem like he has a good fit with this team. I could see them sending Cordero out just because he has the option left. But I could see them maybe biting the bullet and saying, okay, let's Bubba hasn't really cut it yet. Let's try to send him to the alternate side and hope he figures it out and hope no one claims him. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Another interesting choice they're going to have to make. Again, a lot of times these things work their way out. They kind of work themselves out. And I guess I didn't even mention Nicky Lopez. I kind of think Lopez will stay, but the way he's played, the way, like you said, he's been benched lately, kind of make you think, okay, maybe he gets sent out just to work on his hitting a little bit. And he does have an option here too. He can be sent without risking him to waivers. So I don't know. It's really tough. If I had to make a choice now, I still think Starling kind of gets sent out, but that'd be kind of out of character for Dayton Moore. So we'll have to see what happens when they have to make that choice.
Yep.
And it seems like I was even more surprised when they made that move for Franchi Cordero because left-handed bat that does something really, really well, very athletic, really good speed, really good power. Then you have Brett Phillips, also left-handed bat, plays defense really well, runs the bases generally pretty well, gets on base, takes a walk, not scared to take a walk. It's just they both have so many glaring holes in the other aspects of their game. It kind of surprised me even more that they got another project left-handed outfielder with great tools that's just going to become a project. So I started
options.
Yeah, right. I started to cool on Brett Phillips. I was the one banging the drum for Brett Phillips. I think I was the last one on the boat, and I started to dip my toe in the water to jump ship. He started producing a little bit more, so that all adds up really quite nicely.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like each of them has shown just enough in this first 10, 11 games to kind of make you want to hold on to them because, Bubba had a nice double last week in that pinch hitting playing appearance. Phillips had a home run last week. Cordero hit that frozen rope off the wall in center field. They all each show some things, but then they also have like really bad at bats where they look bad, or Cordero has looks lost in the outfield.
Really bad center fielder all of a sudden.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm curious. What do you guys think? Like, what do you think? Who ends up kind of sticking in this, I guess, musical chairs game of outfielder?
I mean, I think you're all over it. I think Franchi having options, I think he might be the guy that actually gets sent down, and I could see them still hanging on to Phillips and Starling just as inventory type of thing. They could also be playing Brett Phillips right now to see if anybody wants to make up some trade when Hunter Dozier's ready. But I mean, I will say I've liked the approach of playing Whit more at second base and having a defensive guy in center field. Whit's a fine center fielder and defensively and stuff, but I don't think the defense that Nicky gives you at second base is all that valuable compared to putting Whit there that can hit a lot better. And then you get a guy in center field that can cover a lot more ground than either one of them. So I could see both those guys sticking around just platooning in center field while Franchi goes down. And like you said, I could see Nicky going to the alternate site and, like you said, working on his hitting. And Eric Mejia takes the bench role because he can play any position. He can cover in shortstop, which was kind of Nicky's big saving grace, is because he could back up Mondesi that wasn't quite fully healthy. So you just assumed that he was going to get that spot and they could bump him over if they need to. Mondesi hasn't looked great, but he hasn't looked like he's injured. So I don't think they're as worried anymore about covering shortstop in that case. So I could see Mejia taking over that utility guy role and Nicky going down.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Starling is the most likely just because there's so many outfielders in the mix. And this is all speaking without talking about Nick Heath. Potentially, I don't know what his overall production and worth is to this team right now. But it seems to be that late inning pinch runner, Gerard Dyson type of role. And I would probably rather have that than a guy that, you have questions about at bat, getting at bats forced almost. Yeah, I would say Starling's probably that guy. And with Nicky, I mean, it seems like I think his defense is really good. It is falling off, but I mean, like we've kind of covered, everybody's defense is kind of in the dumpster right now. But the lack of depth in the up the middle between Mondesi, Mejia, Nicky Lopez, and Witt, and that's pretty much. I mean, you can talk about Matt Reynolds. I mean, I
if you want.
I don't want to. I think the lack of depth in up the middle is probably going to keep Nicky on this roster regardless. And I mean, I'd be completely okay with that. And then, it is what it is. So my answer is probably Starling at that point.
Well, also one thing that kind of works for Bubba Starling right now is he's the only right-handed bat among those guys. Like, if you have a tough lefty, you probably want to sit Nicky Lopez. Maybe you want to sit Brett Phillips and Franchi Cordero, and then Starling would get the start. So that could be what keeps him on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see. I know there's been a lot of articles about how he's fixed his swing. He's more confident than ever. But at some point, he's going to have to produce.
Yep.
And the clock's kind of running on, really running on him. And I don't know another organization that's going to give him as long a look as the Royals have given him.
Right.
So far.
Yep. I think the other I have really liked what I've seen from both O'Haron and McBroom so far. Yep. So at that point, I mean, could you shift Gordo over to center field and maybe play around with Dozier and left, McBroom and right, or vice versa? I mean, you can get pretty creative. It's not a very athletic outfield, but I mean, we have athletic outfielders right now, and it's a lot of question marks in the outfield as far as defense goes. I mean, I could give up that. I can take that trade-off, especially in road games. I'd take that trade-off every day just to keep McBroom and O'Hearn. Just keep O'Hearn's and McBroom bats in the lineup. So,
well, and Matheny's shown he's been a little creative. I mean, he had Salvi start a game at first. He had Solaris started a couple games in right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's willing to do that a little bit. I think you're going to have to be creative to get all these guys at bats.
Yep.
Because I think the younger guys, especially, they need some reps, really.
Yes.
You need to find out what you have with them. And I hope they maximize this opportunity. You don't want to see Hunter Dozier out, but this is an opportunity for those other guys to kind of step up and show what they can do. And like I said, we've seen some flashes out of each of them, but just not enough consistency out of it. And maybe that's because they haven't been able to get the lineup every day, but some of that's just because they need to play better on a more consistent basis.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that kind of brings us to our shenanigans for the. We always have a shenanigan for the guests. We've kind of mixed it up a little bit. I think the last time you were here, we did a lightning round over under where we all kind of went around the table, and I was the only one who thought that Soler would hit over 69 home runs. You guys had a little more foresight than me with this 60-game season, but it's not impossible because Aaron Judge might actually get to 60. He's hitting a lot of home runs. But tonight we wanted to do a little bit more of a lightning round with you. We always do something called keep, trade, cut, where we have three things and we keep one, trade one, and cut one. So we're going to modify that. We're going to give you the three options, and you're going to pick one. And there's one correct answer of the trio on all of these. So we're going to keep score to how many you get right, and we'll see how you tally up at the end. See what your batting average is. So we'll put 60 seconds on the clock. There's the clock.
Feel the pressure. Do I have a lifeline? Or?
Right. So half of these are like Royals related or baseball related. The other half are completely not. So it's going to be interesting. So for the 2020 season, you got to pick Bubic, Montgomery, or Jorge Lopez. Who you got?
Yeah, Jorge Lopez, I think, would be the one you want to cut at this point. And I say that's a guy that was really high on the trade, and for like a year, I was like, this guy's got some good stuff. And then I think there was just a point where like, I've seen enough. I'm willing to call it. Montgomery, he's fine. He just kind of is what he is, which is kind of maybe a fifth starter. And so, Chris Bubic, he might be the same thing, but we just don't know. It's like the backup quarterback before pre-Mahomes.
Sure.
Like, with the Chiefs fans, like he might be better. We just don't know. So let's give him a chance. Like we always wanted to see the backup quarterback. So that's kind of what Bubic is. And he looked, like I said, he looked solid that first start. I kind of want to see more of it. His upside maybe Mike Montgomery, but who knows? Maybe it's Jason Vargas, or maybe it's even higher than that. You just don't know.
Bruce Chen.
Bruce Chen. Maybe he's got jokes like Bruce Chen. I don't know.
Oh, please, yes.
But I'll take the shiny new thing just because we don't know the upside yet.
Bubich is correct. So you're 1 for 1.
All
Well
right.
done. All right. Question 2. For breakfast, French toast, pancakes, or waffles?
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm actually an eggs guy for breakfast.
Okay.
But I'll go with the pancakes just because I like stacking them. I like smothering them syrup and just getting a big bite of like 3 of them in one bite. So I'll go with pancakes.
I like the logic. It's actually incorrect. The answer is French toast. I thought you were gonna go with it when you're talking eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
Thought you were gonna get it, but not
French
this
toast
time.
is good. French toast is solid. I can't argue with that.
Speaking of French toast, for the 2020 season, Franchi, Bubba, or Brett Phillips?
Again, I'll kind of go with the shiny new thing, Frenchie Cordero, just because we haven't seen him fail as much as the other two, I guess. But I am intrigued by his. I mean, look, he's got 70 great speed, 70 great power, and the crazy thing is he wasn't striking out. I mean, he only got his first strikeout the other day, which is crazy for a guy that had a high strikeout rate in the minors. And he just hasn't been healthy the last 2 years. So let's see what he can do. And I'm ready. Bring on the Franchi Cordero experience. I may hate it a year from now, but
Right.
I'm all on board for now.
Just give us some more tools to put our hopes into.
Yeah.
I've actually got here that Brett Phillips is the correct answer. So
You're on the Brett Phillips train for a long time.
yep,
Yeah.
still
Josh loves him.
I'm the engineer of that locomotive, baby.
I like Brett Phillips. He's a fun guy to root for, if nothing else. And I feel like in an alternate universe, like someone threw him out there as the everyday starting right fielder, and he's a solid like 2-in player who plays great defense, hits like 220 with 25 home runs,
Mm-hmm.
and that just never happened in this universe for whatever reason.
Yep.
I mean, there was a day where that was his floor.
Yeah.
He was
I know.
highly regarded. He found a whole new floor.
Yep. Yep. Maybe someday. Still holding out hope for you, Maverick.
You can still happen.
So this is the after dark movie night. So the kids are in bed. Ryan Reynolds action comedy. Adam Sandler and gang comedy. Or a Coen Brothers comedy film. I don't know. Dramedy? What do we call them Coen Brothers now?
They're dark comedies, I guess.
Yep.
Younger me says Adam Sandler
Mhm.
for sure, but I think older me now would probably go with the Coen Brothers.
Coen Brothers.
I'm a Big Lebowski is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mhm.
So I would probably rely on one of those or one of their newer movies. They're great too. So I know my wife's picking though. She's picking that Ryan Reynolds movie. He's a
Your
handsome man. I
Your
can't
wife
lie.
is correct. It's actually the Ryan Reynolds action comedy is the correct answer. We did a Man Crush draft a couple weeks ago. Boy, I always put like a graphic of all the picks we've had in our waiver wire drafts. Ryan Reynolds is just dreamy, out of this world. Out of this
I
world.
can't deny that.
Go back to Royals here. The best Royals career when they're done, and I'm talking about just the time with the Royals. Soler, Mondesi, or Salvi?
I will go with Salvi just because he's already kind of has a lot in the bank already. Soler, I don't think they're going to resign him. I just think it's going to be too expensive. I don't know if he's really going to be that wanting to sign on with a team that has been losing a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, Mondesi. I still like his potential, but I mean he's 25 now, and if not now, when?
Yeah.
So he's still got some time to turn it on. But even he's not a guy I would say for sure he's going to sign a long-term deal because he's a guy that probably the Royals wanted to sign him his rookie year, probably to a long-term deal, and he's a guy that made a significant bonus, and I don't know if he obviously grew up the son of a major leaguer. I don't know if he got any of that, he got to partake in any of that money, but
Right.
He's not a guy that's like hurting that needs to sign a long-term deal. So maybe he's waiting for that big payday when he hits free agency. But I don't know if he spends as much time in a Royals uniform as Salvi. So I'll say Salvi.
That's correct. He, I think you're absolutely right. Got enough in the bank. All those other two have to really step up their game to get to that point and stick around longer than they're probably going to. So, correct, Salvi. Here's a fun one. Not that these haven't been fun. I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully you have for 8-hour road trip. Which, if you're coming back from Colorado, you may get to live this reality real soon. You get to listen to either Cher or Kesha or ABBA. What you got? Who's on the tune?
Wow.
You know, you don't have to hold me to this through the road trip. I mean,
You can't even do silence. You got to listen to one of these.
That's a tough one. I guess I'll say ABBA. The songs seem a little more singable. I'm not that familiar with Kesha's work other than maybe like one or two songs.
Mm-hmm.
And Cher, that'd be real rough for me.
That's
but,
tough. Yep.
I don't know. What's the right answer?
Correct.
Is there a right answer in this one?
There is always a right answer, and it's ABBA because of the sing along. You gotta be able to get involved. Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
You can like you said, one or two Kesha songs you probably get involved with, but ABBA's got a solid library to go into.
That's true. They made a whole musical about their song, so how bad could it be, right?
And it had a sequel, and I think they're making a third one. So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's ABBA. Also going back to the best Royals career, Duffy, Singer, or Keller?
That's a good question because Duffy, I think, is up to 17 or 18 wins above replacement, which is already pretty high up there in Royals history.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually put it out there, like, is Danny Duffy a Royals Hall of Famer on Twitter. I was really surprised how many no's there were. Not that I think he is, but I just thought there would be more mixed responses.
Yeah.
So he's actually kind of pretty distinguished Royals career. I don't know Keller. Who knows? You know, these young pitchers, even Singer, I'm pretty high on. There's a lot that can go wrong in 6 years. You know, and like with Salvi, like Duffy's already put those wins in the bank. He's had a nice, solid career. So I'll say Duffy. But I don't feel as confident about this one as the other one.
Well, you should, because Duffy is the correct answer. Well
Bury
done.
me a Royal.
Yep. I think that's if we're going just off of numbers, I think it gets a little closer. But if you're talking about like belovedness, I think Duffy's ingrained himself in the Kansas City culture and with the Royals. I think it's a done deal. I wonder
what he does with when his contract is up.
Yeah, me too.
I could see him maybe signing like a lesser deal, maybe as a reliever, because he might be a heck of a reliever.
Yeah, let's go.
To kind of close things out for those younger 2018 draft pitchers. That'd be interesting. Yeah, and I could see him ending his career in Kansas City, which would be great. Yep. I mean, the guy deserves it. So
he's my favorite Royal of all time for a reason. He was the guy who was ready to commit to Kansas City before it was cool when Pat Mahomes
That's
did.
Right. And he wore a bear suit.
Yep, that's right. It's a bear suit, Joel. This one's for a binge watch for a weekend. We've got the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the Star Wars library up to, 9 now? Unless you count the other little side stories, or the Lord of the Rings. What's the go-to for that one?
So I've not seen any Marvel movies.
Oh no,
I've seen like Iron Man, which is good. It was really good. My son's really into them. I haven't seen any of them. Lord of the Rings, I fell asleep in.
Okay.
Ooh. I am a huge Star Wars nerd.
Yep.
So that's a really easy one for me. It's Star Wars all day. I'll even watch the prequels. I'll watch Attack of the Clones. You want me? Yeah. I'll watch that over Lord of the Rings. But yeah, I'll take Star Wars.
Okay. Incorrect. It is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay. Your son is on.
They seem good. They seem really good. I have just not seen them.
It seems like your family is really good. So you need to like.
I should have had my son answer these questions.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, we probably have a lot in common with between.
He loves French toast, by the way.
Yeah. How's he feel about swords? Does he like swords? That's the Josh Kaiser trifecta. All right. Next one is the best smell of these three. And these I got a little creative with. So we've got the inside of a used baseball glove, or a worn jersey of a player that played a doubleheader, but they didn't actually play. They just rode the pine. Or Salvi's catcher gear after a July day game.
Okay. This seems like maybe a little bit of a trick question.
Stinky cheese. You smelling that stinky cheese?
Seems pretty obvious. Like, I don't know if you're going to say, well, no, it's actually Salvi's gear because he wears perfume, behind the plate. But it seems like the inside of a used baseball glove. That's great. That's one of my favorite smells of all time. I'll take that over the other less pleasant aromas.
Correct. You did. You smelled it. You mean you smelled that
smell
stinky cheese? Yep. The used, inside of a baseball glove got that broken in leather smell. Give it to me all day. And finally, the best writing, Moby Dick The Walls of Luca by Steve Fiziak or RoyalsReview.com?
I will say that our good friend Jeremy Greco, better known as Hokias, read Walls of
Yeah, he
Luca,
did.
and he said it was pretty decent, and suggested that perhaps Steve Fiziak should do writing full time and maybe retire from broadcasting.
Really?
So I have not read the book, but it may be very well be good. I don't think I've read Moby Dick either, but I will put our writing up against Herman Melville. I mean, just because American classic. I mean, what we've got articles that compare baseball players to kitchen objects. I mean, like,
Yeah, we do.
yeah. So I mean, I'll put that up against anyone. So yeah, I'll say RoyalsReview.com any day of the week. Yeah.
Well, it's actually correct. RoyalsReview.com does
Shocker.
superior writing to both Steve Fiziak and Moby Dick. So,
Yeah.
really, really good stuff for RoyalsReview.com. Max, you got 6 out of 10 correct. So, I mean,
that's good.
that's not bad. That's actually currently
hey.
number 1 on a leaderboard so far.
Do that to play at the big league level. You're a Hall of Famer, right?
Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
You'll go down as the GOAT at that point.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you taking your time out to join us for the Clearing Waivers podcast. We do appreciate it. We will continue to watch the work you guys, I guess we do, but mostly you over at Royals Review. And also everybody needs to check out the Royals Review Radio on wherever you get your podcast. If you're hearing us, you can go hear them as well. They got a lot of great analysis, a lot of in-depth stuff to covering the Royals. So definitely go check. I think you guys are still in the throes of the AL Central previews, or is that random course?
I think we still have to preview the Twins, but we're kind of going through and also just talking about what's been going on this season. But also don't undersell your stuff. Josh Kaiser is pumping out some quality work at Royals Review. Just check out his bold predictions for the season, which some may have already been disproven. We'll see.
Already blown up. I think Michael Franco is like 3 for 30 since I made that prediction.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I appreciate all the hard work by all our writers, and then all the readers too. The readers have some great comments, and it really make it a great community. So definitely check it out. There's a little something there for everyone, I think.
Yep. So yeah, Max, appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks again, Max. That was great. Really, really enjoyed having him on the podcast. Good stuff. I mean, Brian and I had a really good time talking to him. I think he had a good time as well. That lightning round was a lot of fun. We learned a lot.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff there. But let's get into it here. We've got the first shenanigan for you is the usual DFA. I forgot again to play the clearing the waivers segment thong. So let's just go to the designated for assignment theme song. Here we go.
It's time to play DFA.
Short and sweet. Nailed it. Love it. Great DFA. This week's
vocals.
This week's question is coming from Brian. The order right now is going to be me, then Kitty, and then Rance. So, Brian, what you got?
Well, I came up with something this week that's a little unusual for us, let's just say. But I just kind of wanted to see you guys squirm with this question. So
Thanks.
Here we go. The St. Louis Blues were the 2019 Stanley Cup champions. You've all watched SportsCenter for decades, so you've known hockey exists. Even if you don't watch it, you know it exists. All I'm asking you to do tonight,
name an NHL team.
What are the other 14 teams in the Western Conference with the Blues? Just name the team. It's in the Western Conference, and let's see if we can knock those out as a team here.
14?
14 other teams besides the St. Louis Blues.
That's so many teams.
Should knock out a fair chunk of them then, huh?
Give me the LA Kings.
LA Kings is correct. Move along to Kitty.
I'll go with the Avalanche.
Colorado Avalanche, correct. Rance, what do you got?
The Coyotes.
Arizona Coyotes. Correct.
I didn't know if they were
Arizona?
Arizona or Phoenix.
I thought
I
they were
didn't
Phoenix.
know.
Right. I wrote down Phoenix, so that's how long ago I paid attention to hockey. They were still
I knew
Phoenix
they were the
Coyotes.
Coyotes. So
Yep. That's enough for me. Back to Josh.
Las Vegas Knights.
That's correct.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
I can't wait till my list starts blending into NHL and WNBA teams.
I'm gonna go with the Mighty Ducks.
God dang
there
it,
That's
you go.
right, Anaheim Ducks.
Sorry, Frank.
son of a gun.
Look at you guys just banging these off.
That's going to come to a screeching halt real soon.
Is Dallas Stars? They used to be the North Stars. Or
Dallas Stars
Dallas-
is correct.
okay.
Very good.
Now we start to get into like, is this Western Conference or not?
Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint on this one because I knew we'd get there because I thought maybe NHL, I don't know the Eastern Conference, Western Conference all that well. So I thought I might get kind of goofy, but there's only 2 teams in the Western Conference that are geographically east of St. Louis. And there are no teams from the east that are west of St. Louis. So that should tell you geographically what we're working with here.
Go ahead and cross. I won't cross them out.
I don't know. You're probably going to have to say that again.
Just think west of St. Louis, except for 2 teams.
Does
Okay.
I'm not sure you're counting the Seattle Kraken yet.
I am not counting them yet.
Okay.
But good on you for
Hey,
knowing that.
I watch Sports Center sometimes.
We've still got 8 teams, for God's sake.
I know.
How about as one of those teams east of it, the Nashville Preds?
That is correct. Nashville
Let's
Predators.
go.
Oh, nice.
Recent
All right,
champ.
then. I know they used to be in the West. I'm gonna go with the Red Wings. Not sure if they still are. or
Red
not.
Wings are in the east.
They've moved to the East. Damn it.
Kitty's first option.
First option. On to Rants.
I know they used to be in the West.
So there's one more team east of St. Louis that is in the West.
Yep,
Chicago Blackhawks.
that's correct. Chicago
Good one.
Blackhawks.
I had both of them written down. Okay, good.
God, you guys are on a roll here.
Yeah.
We got 8. Only 6 more.
How about the Minnesota Wild?
Correct, Joshua Kaiser.
God, I knew there was a team in Minnesota, but I had no clue they're wild. Nice job, man.
I'm gonna go with old San Jose.
That's correct.
Sharks.
God, on a roll still. Back to Rants.
I don't know. I'm thinking.
Cue
of
the
trying to-
Jeopardy music.
What about like the Calgary Flames?
Calgary
Good one.
Flames.
Good one.
Correct.
That was
Yep.
the only one I had left on the list.
Oh, no.
We're down to 3 left, I believe,
Yep,
right?
that's right.
We've got both of the ones east of St. Louis.
Got one I know for sure is the right answer on my list.
God, you guys might get this.
I know it's east of. No, that's not right. Just give me an option.
Okay, Josh takes up an option.
Yeah,
We're on to Kitty.
We got the Vancouver Canucks.
I was trying to think of Vancouver.
Yep. That is correct. 2 more teams left.
Oh man, who are these?
My turn.
Yep.
Yes.
Does Winnipeg still have a team? Winnipeg Jets.
Winnipeg Jets are on this list.
That's the correct answer?
That is correct. I thought that would be
Nice.
the one that you didn't get.
One left.
1 left.
Winnipeg. I just couldn't think of where they were.
I know my Canadian provinces.
Apparently, yeah, you've been brushing up on your Canadian geography of late.
You guys went too fast. Just give me another option.
Option number 2 for Josh.
Oh. Come on, Kitty. 'Cause
Kitty's
I'm
up.
at a loss now.
I'm gonna go with Edmonton Oilers.
And that closes out the game.
Nice job.
Yes.
Well done. Only used 3 total options.
Not bad at all.
Nice.
Nicely done, everybody.
I think Rance wins it though. He got 5 without an option.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
5-0. Damn, that Red Wings pick of mine. I should have let it go.
Yep. It was on my list.
That was a good question. That was pretty fun.
You guys all thought you were screwed at the beginning, but teamwork makes the dream
It
work.
worked. Yeah, there's been a couple teams Winnipeg would have been a tough one.
Yep.
If France hadn't pulled that one, I don't think I never would have come up with that one.
Really happy someone pulled Vancouver because I knew it was on there. I could not think of the mascot. I should have just said Vancouver. Well done.
All
Good
right.
stuff. I like it.
Fun. That was good.
Let's move on to the Waiver Watch waiting game. That one's obviously got a theme song as well.
Obviously.
Has to.
Waiver Watch waiting game. Waiver Watch waiting game. Waiver Watch waiting game. Waiver Watch waiting game.
For bonus points, who sings the original song that we already learned about?
I know the
Rance and
answer.
Kitty.
I already forgot.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
No clue.
Mr. Harry Styles.
Oh, well, yeah. No wonder I couldn't remember that
Boy
one.
band.
Yeah, my fault. That's my fault
One
completely.
Direction.
Forgetting that immediately
We're gonna have a lot of One Directioners in our
Every-
mentions tomorrow.
after you told me that last week.
Mhm. So as the song says, Waiver Watch waiting game. Y'all know the rules. Everybody's going to bring one to the table, and we're going to try to guess the Rotten Tomato critic score. Rand, since you won that last game, I'm going to have you go first with your movie or TV show.
Okay, this is an older movie, but every time it's on, I watch it. It was on IFC again this week at one time, and that is Kingpin from 1996,
Oh, man.
starring Woody Harrelson, Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid. Bill Murray. It's a classic. It has had over 80,000 reviews, audience reviews on.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
You got the critic score though, right?
I do have the critic score as
Okay.
well.
I'm
Yes.
locked in.
Yep, I'm in.
I'm in. I don't feel good about my guess, but I'm in.
All right, Kitty, you're the first. You got second place, so you go ahead.
I feel like they're not going to like this movie, but it was just so funny. Maybe there's a few that are going to say, "Oh, that's all right. That's a good movie." So I went with 64. I think I'm way too high, but I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it written down.
I think it's going to be way higher. I think it's going to be an 83. Seems like a good sports movie that the critics would get into. So 83.
And this was right on the verge, I feel like, where critics lost their sense of humor. So I think it's going to be right down the middle, even though it should be more than 83. I'm going 54.
Okay. So the critic score on Kingpin was 50%.
Ooh.
They did not enjoy it all that much.
No, they did not.
Wow.
They did
That's
not
so-
care for
God.
Kingpin.
You said
I-
50%,
you know-
right?
Yes, I
Probably as
did.
soon as I bet they all got turned off once he had the joke about drinking bull semen.
There was a few jokes in there that were cutting edge.
I guess if they didn't turn off before at the part where he knocked something loose, Tiger, and maybe the bull semen maybe rode too far for those critics.
What was the audience score?
A lot of great one-liners.
Yeah,
and the
what-
audience score was only 69%. I was
Wow.
thinking higher on
Wow.
it.
Disappointing.
I mean, it's a
crazy.
classic to me.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Totally.
The Big Earn.
Kitty, you're up next.
All right. So I went back to 2009 for a movie I think is hilarious. Kaiser did a Halloween costume on this movie. I went with Youth in Revolt.
Yes.
Oh, Michael Cera led role with him as Francois Dillinger, his alter ego.
How many
I think it's
people?
hilarious.
How many people got that costume on first glance?
Yeah. Who would even know?
I think one person in the entire city of St. Louis where I went out that night got it.
Mhm.
What were you doing over there?
That's a great accusation.
Yeah, what
How dare
in
you?
the
How
hell
dare you be in
are
St.
you
Louis?
doing over there on Halloween? Good God, man.
Looking for something to do. I found it, but none of them have great movie sense like me and Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we got you guys all in.
Starting off with rants.
I don't know anything about this movie whatsoever.
Hold on. I think we need to start with Brian. He's in the lead.
Okay.
Brian
Rance
needs
doesn't
to
have
go
a score
first.
yet, but yeah.
Tomato, tomato, Brian.
I think this was kind of a smart comedy, even though it was really funny. It was not the fart humor that most of us usually go for. So I'm thinking the critics dug it, and
Yeah.
I'm going high at 83.
Now let's go to rants.
Like I said, I mean, every time Kitty recommends a comedy,
It's a real
I
fart
don't know that I would probably even laugh one time at it. But he finds it absolutely hysterical. So I'd say the critics at least gave it 76%.
I think you'd laugh a lot at this one. Michael Cera's amazing in it. You'd laugh.
A lot is a lot. Laughing a lot is a lot.
I'll come through this fucking computer screen, Josh, and slap you.
I went the exact same as Brian with an 83.
Ooh, 83. Well, I'm going to start with the audience score first because it's kind of funny to me. Audience was 52.
Mm-hmm.
So very much, apparently
The
this is a
critics have to
Kingpin.
be much higher.
Apparently, basically the same as Kingpin. This movie and Kingpin, basically even Steven. The critics went with a 66.
Hmm.
So it was up there a little bit more.
This is not Josh's night.
Too high on that one.
That's too
Good
bad.
first outing from Rance on that one.
Yeah. All right. My turn. I'm going to go next. My movie is Transformers The Last Night.
What does that mean?
Which number in the series is this? Is this a cartoon or is this
Number
live action?
six.
What's happening?
This is the fourth one of the live action Transformers.
Is this the one with John Cena?
Yes.
Live action.
John Cena's in a Transformers
Yes.
movie?
Yep.
Yes.
TJ Miller's been in at least one.
What does that mean? Live action.
It's like probably cartoon.
Live action.
Live action. Woo!
It's
Turtle
not
Man's in it. I
animated.
think Turtle Man's in this movie.
Live.
Live action.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen the Turtle Man.
I haven't seen him forever either.
Surely he's dead.
Or in
Got bit by
jail.
something poisonous.
Yep. He's either got a meth charge on his record by now or he's dead. Only two outcomes.
All right, I'm in.
This movie
in.
had to be complete dog shit.
I've got Rance going first here.
38%.
No explanation. Just it was
Anything
dog
with John
shit.
Cena in it has to be garbage.
Let's go to Kitty.
I'm in the same boat as Rance. 32.
32.
Transformers 4. Good lord.
Everybody was over it by then.
No, Asia. I think the box office in Asia just still.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of these movies, these big blockbusters like this, seem to just get in Asian markets, get the money there.
Yep.
They
Fast
could
and Furious
bomb in the
could
United
be-
States.
They make a lot on the Asian market too, but they're
They
just
make a lot in the U.S. market still, and they're
Yes,
just great
they do.
movies. Just
they are
films.
just great movies.
Films.
Brian,
Films.
films, cinematic.
Yes.
I'm right there with Kitty. I'm at 32, and that I feel like that might be too high, even though I never saw it.
What if I told you that you're all high?
Yeah.
So it's so hard to go lower than the
All
numbers.
our
It's
picks
so
are
hard to
high?
pull it.
Yep.
Yeah, we're all above the number.
Jesus.
Hope it's like
Are we
12.
single digits?
Audience score was a 44.
Okay.
We almost got the audience.
The critic score was a 15.
Holy shit. I knew it was
15.
bad, but my God.
That's pretty brutal.
That's one of the lowest ever on this game.
Yep. I'd be curious to see which one was the lowest. Maybe that's the next week's. All right, Brian's
That
gonna
is
bring it home with
pitiful.
his. That's not good.
I gotta get close. Rance and I have a chance to topple Kaiser if we can get close.
Yep. So all this working from home action had got me inspired to think of the movie now can be a little funnier because it's not our real life. And that's from 1999, Office Space.
Office Space.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love this movie so much.
So I've got Kitty in the lead right now.
Oof, all right, here.
Oh, what a great show. I love that movie. Lumberg.
1999.
I
What
am
would you
in.
say you do here?
Do here. I have people skills.
Not going to work here anymore.
Yeah, I probably need to revisit that. There's some really good lines in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got Kitty in front too.
it used to
Yeah, I'm
be that
written
you
down.
laughed so you wouldn't cry, but that's a
Part
little
of that,
funnier
that's very
now.
true.
Now you
Oh
can
my
truly enjoy it because
Yeah, that's right.
hopefully it's in your rear view.
Yep. All right, let's go to Kitty first.
I'm hoping this is one the critics are gonna enjoy, and I went with 74.
Okay. On to Rants.
I went slightly higher than that with 76.
Okay. Josh.
I went back to 83. One of these days.
It treats
For
you
the
so
third
well.
time.
Might as well go for it.
That's right.
All righty. So the answer. Audience score first. Audience score was 93.
Nice.
Mm.
Wow.
Very high. Moment of truth, the critic score
On 70.
was a nice even 80.
Oh!
Kitty and
Love
Rants come back to take the 1-point victory for tied at a 37
tied,
total.
didn't we?
We
both
tied
tied.
completely?
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You both out 37. I was 38, and Josh is 53.
Congratulations,
Well done,
Rance.
boys.
That was good.
That was action
Oh, that's
packed.
Space is such a great movie.
Yeah, that's certainly one I need to revisit.
Yep. Especially with all your upcoming time off.
I might need to just check out Transformers 4. You never know. 15%.
Better than 15.
Maybe. I'm going with
Can't
low
imagine that'd be
expectation.
worth your time.
Anthony Hopkins is in it.
What?
Wow. That is
Hannibal
a pay-
Lecter is in that?
Yep.
paycheck grab.
And I will say the latest Transformers movie is actually that Bumblebee, Haley Steinfeld. It got a 90%.
And the critics?
Yes. It's apparently really good.
Whoa. What?
Yep.
The newest one got a 90.
Yep. Apparently it's really good.
It can't be.
I don't
No.
believe you.
I can't
Let's
see that.
get
I mean-
into the waiver wire again.
Sounds like some. I'm just so upset. I don't even know what to do.
Well, you're gonna get cheered up real soon. Here we go. If I could hit that correctly.
Yeah.
Waiver wire this week is going to be a draft of our favorite superpowers. Seems like it's right up my alley. I mean, you guys grooved this one to me. I'm already going to win this because I have a big board of the best superpowers, and then the value is just out of this world. So I'm pretty pumped about this one. Before we do that, we need to figure out the waiver priority as usual. Brian taking home the big W this week.
All right.
With his coverage team, and objectively looking at it, it was the best collection. It was very, very good.
I have a hard disagree with Harry
Good
Carey.
job, Sink Pissers.
And Rance, good news for you. Summer did really well on his draft with your number one overall pick. So he actually came in second in the vote.
Good.
So
That's
you'll
good
be
to hear.
picking second. I will be following with the third pick, and then poor Kitty. The big old goose egg again.
Shocker once again.
Just
Man,
can't get over the hump.
One of these days, he's gonna
I
be like
just-
a pinched hose.
It's all just this sophisticated taste level that no one understands.
Bunch of low lives.
Yep. sounds like you need to get some of your friend Schlansky's in.
Yeah, I better
get them out and
reach out to old Jordan. Get him on the.
Yep. Get him on here.
vote or
get some
die.
votes.
Sink pissers.
Get your book club friends on here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, don't talk
So-
about book club on this podcast.
So Brian, what's your number one overall superpower?
I'm going with teleportation number one.
Son of a
Mm.
bitch.
It would just be so great to just be anywhere you want at the thought of it. And I mean, you don't need to be rich. You don't need to have anything. You can just teleport into somebody else's life. And if they have a problem with it, bait, you go somewhere else.
You're out. Yeah.
I mean, what a life. If you're annoyed by somebody that's talking to you, bam, gone. So,
And
I mean,
not just gone, just disappeared immediately. And that's
Yeah.
oh
just-
yeah, it takes
that's
Irish
even-
goodbye to a whole new level.
That's what an insult. to somebody. I was mid sentence and the guy just disappeared.
It's gone.
Eyes are just vanished.
Vanished. In a blink of an eye's out of here.
And then you don't. Then you
Must have
just
somebody be-
send them a text like right after that and be like, "Sorry, my superpower just kind of malfunctioned. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do it, but I'm magically on a beach now. I'm sorry. I just can't. I only get so many per day, so I can't come back. But I just want to say I'm sorry."
Yep.
And then,
Yeah. And even if you want to just leave and go kick it on the beach for just a few hours, boom, you're there, have a few drinks, boom, you're gone, back home.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
I mean, people say you can. Flying would be cool. Flying wouldn't be cool for me because I hate heights. So I'd much
Mhm.
rather teleport in a heartbeat.
I knew that wasn't going one when you got the first pick.
No.
A safe miss.
Yep.
That was number one on my board. I thought it might actually fall to me at 3. I didn't think teleportation would be that high on your guys' list, but
God, it's so cool.
it
So
is.
many scenarios you could use in it.
Very good. Rants.
Like I said, I've created, I think, a few superpowers that maybe nobody else, I mean, it's not existed by any superheroes.
I'm into it.
But I would like to have super endurance. Like endurance to like, I never get tired. Like I'm not gassed when I mow the yard, or I'm not breathing heavily when I bend over to tie my shoes. Or like when I put my daughter in the car seat and I break a sweat, shit like that.
I think people just call that endurance.
Okay, well, I got super endurance. I got super endurance.
You can do all 3 in a day. You're not going to be winning at all.
And I'm never gonna get tired.
He
So,
can
I
run at an average speed forever.
Yeah. Run marathons, never get tired. Play endless games of basketball, never get tired.
That would be where it's
It's super endurance, man.
You don't even need get Roman wipes.
Not an
there
ad.
really wouldn't be any need to even, you wouldn't have to exercise at all.
Nope.
Because you just,
you just
would
have
that
it.
endurance. I'm already
Natural
there.
ability right there, just super
So,
endurance.
You can just run everywhere like Forrest Gump.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Forrest Gump is a superhero for a lot of reasons, but definitely endurance.
I know that's a weird pick, but
Well,
that
okay.
works. That works for
I'm not
me.
going to lie to you. I think you could have got that in round 2.
Or 4. But I'm just playing to what I feel like is important to
You're
me.
playing your heart. You're playing your heart again. You're not
Gotta-
playing the board. You're playing
yeah.
your heart.
That's right.
You got to listen to your heart.
He's just trying to help me not get. He's trying to help me get 3rd this week.
I mean, you're going to
Who
get 4th
doesn't
again.
want super endurance? Fine.
Very interesting.
Moving on.
I got to go with my second. Brian doesn't want it, and you definitely don't have to exercise when you can fly whenever and wherever you want to go. Brian doesn't like heights because you're scared about falling, correct?
I
You
mean,
won't fall from
it's
those
just
heights.
in my bones. I can't just tell myself I'm not going to fall, and I don't feel like I'm going to be dizzy and fall down.
Well, have I got news for you? If you have the power of flight, you never have to worry about falling. So give
What
me
if somebody
flight.
shoots you?
I mean, I can still fly.
Mm,
Can you?
Did
Depends
you
on what
watch
they shoot.
Jumper? That dude got shot multiple times. Didn't stop him from dying.
I think you know the answer to that
I've seen ducks and geese flying, and they've got shot, and they don't keep flying.
They're not very superhero-y.
Well, it depends on where the power of flight is generated from. I feel like it's in the gut. So unless you shoot me in the gut, I'm still flying right to the hospital, and they're getting that bullet out because I'm a flying guy.
Because you're going to take
I
it
like
in.
it.
Yep.
Now they know where to aim too.
I'm 100% in on flying. That was my number one.
It's hypothetical. Could be from my pinky
Okay.
toe. You never know where the power of flight comes from.
I never
That's
had
true.
that one down. I hate heights as well.
Yep.
Kitty, you're up.
Well, since 1 and 2 are off my board, I'm going to go with old Professor X mind control.
Mm-hmm. You and I might have the same draft board, by the way.
Would that be the same as like telepathy
Yeah,
Eh,
basically.
or
can-
not?
Mind control, you can take over somebody's mind.
yeah, I
Right.
think telepathy, you can read
I'm
their
basically,
minds.
I am now with this mind control winning every draft. There's one benefit of it. Pick
Plus you
101 every
You
week.
can pander to every sink pisser out there and get like a group.
Oh, that's true. I could just, I got Cerebro out here from my apartment and just see who downloaded the episode and find out what they think about the draft.
It's a real crowdsourced draft board for Kitty this week.
Just know all the answers.
Yep.
And I can tell my boss how great I am, and oh yeah, he is a really good worker. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
right.
He's the best worker we got.
Best
Go to the
worker.
bar. You know what? I want to give this guy a free beer.
Yep.
Again. Just all kinds of good possibilities.
Yep.
I feel like you're underutilizing this skill, but that's what
I'm-
you want. Go for it.
I'm everyday lifing this skill.
Mhm.
I don't need to go too far out of the realm of my life. I'm just gonna stay in my lane. Just kind of. I don't want people to know I have this ability.
Okay.
Sure.
I start going too big with it, then I start getting noticed.
When
Yep.
people see the tweet that says Jeff Bezos has decided to give all his money to Kitty Crotch,
Exactly.
somebody's gonna think,
Then
what
there's
the
gonna be
hell's
an
going
issue.
on?
No one's heard of this guy before.
Everyone shut down all the verified accounts on Twitter. Something is wrong.
Yeah, there's been a hack.
There's another hack. Hack number 2. It's in.
Yep, that's a good point. You gotta not be super obvious.
That's a very like Office Space type of perspective you're taking too. Is like, what would you do if you had $1 million? Nothing. Wouldn't do anything. What would you do if you could control anybody's mind anytime you want?
Get a free beer here and there.
Get free soda, free beer.
Play 3
get out.
rounds of golf.
Yeah, I get out of a speeding ticket every now and then.
Clearing waivers drafts.
2 chicks at the
Priorities
same
are
time.
You chicks.
Yeah.
All right, so what are you following up mind control with?
I'm gonna go with, since flying's off the board, I'm gonna go with super speed.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
This way, I mean, I can't fly around super fast, but I'm gonna run around super fast and get everything done. All those dumb menial tasks that you hate, just get those done, lickety split.
Mm-hmm.
Have the rest of the day to sit on my ass and do nothing.
Yep.
And control people's minds.
Yep.
Great.
From the
So you-
comforts of your own couch.
Yep.
From the
You get,
from my lazy boy. I
you get
am
that free beer, then you
people on
make them
TV.
think that you were never there, and then you were never there.
Perfect.
Yep.
It's a perfect crime.
Not too shabby.
Good.
Living the
In and out.
dream. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with my second pick with the power of flight. I am also going to be able to quick heal. So if somebody shoots me in the gut, baby, it doesn't matter because I'm healing.
Oh, he
So
did
it's
it.
irrelevant now if you get
Yep.
shot.
I'm a
Wolverine's
goose.
flying.
I'm a real goose that will not die because no goose
Yep.
has ever died ever.
That's right.
So I'm going to be able to I'm going to heal all my wounds every time I inevitably crash into an airplane
Billboard.
because I'm not paying attention. I'm just going to be able to come right out of it. So,
Yep.
Booyah, I guess.
Does super healing work that fast if you crash into an airplane as you're
I
flying?
mean, obviously, there's some kind of proportion involved, but
I mean, it takes Wolverine a little bit of
sure.
time usually.
Deadpool, I mean, it takes him at least a day.
Yeah, he grows back those little baby hands.
Yep. Which might be even better. Like if you saw a big-headed man and then the rest of him is just a baby and he's hanging out on the airplane. I mean, on the wing of the airplane. I mean, that'd that'd be great social media exposure. So not only am I able to fly and I can quick heal, but I'm a social influencer.
Right.
That's good.
Back to rants.
I don't know how I could top my super endurance, but I'm going to try.
His super ability to eat all the fried chicken.
I'm going to go with the superpower of elasticity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a good
I would
one.
love to just be sitting on the couch. Oh, I'll just stretch my arm all the way around the kitchen and grab a few brews. Oh,
That's
maybe I'll
exactly
reach
what I
in
was
the kitchen and I'll pull out a frozen pizza when I'm sitting down.
And you're preheating the oven with the other hand.
Yeah, do all sorts of stuff. When I got to clean up my daughter's messes all the time, boom, long arms, boom, I'm cleaning it up in a couple minutes. It's done.
Uh-huh.
Stuff like that.
Good thing you have that endurance.
Everyday simple tasks, like Kitty was saying.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love it too.
I mean,
You've got
don't
all that
really use it for
endurance
anything
to
else.
keep you on the couch all day.
Exactly. Exactly. It goes hand in hand.
Yep.
It really does.
Very complimentary. Yep. I like that a lot. Back to Brian.
I'm going with invisibility.
Uh-huh.
And it's mostly for real life applications where I just want to be left alone. And if they can't see me, then they're not going to bother me.
Another perfect. Just use it for.
God.
You've already got teleportation. What do you?
Yeah, what else do you need? You can
Why
leave
do
a
you need
situation at any
invisibility?
time.
No, you do it. You combine the two. So when you leave someone's presence, as you teleport, you become invisible. So you teleport onto the beach, and no one knows you just teleported there. Then you can really relax and enjoy yourself with no one knows you're there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm drafting this not thinking I'm getting all these at the same time. I'm just ranking the true superhero powers. I'm not thinking. I mean, it'd be a cheat code if you got 4 superhero powers as a superhero.
It's pretty short-sighted of you, I think, is what I'm hearing.
But like, even if it was well known around your family and friends and stuff that you could be invisible, I mean, if there's like a group dinner or something that you don't have any part of, they just leave you like a chair. They're like, well, he's here. He's just invisible. And really, I'm home watching the Royals game.
So you
know what I
show
mean?
up, you make your appearance, and then you fade off into invisibility, and then
That's
really
right.
you're not even there.
I'm
Down
not
a plate
there.
of food and then just become invisible.
Yes, absolutely.
I like it. Do you worry about how every time it's been in a book or a movie that the Invisible Man becomes a real fucking asshole?
Like Hollow Man. Like Kevin Bacon in Hollow Man.
Classic
Exactly.
Kevin Bacon movie.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to put it out there. I don't want to use it to be a creep and spy
Right.
on people.
Sure.
I think a lot of these people that want this power also don't want to be creeps, but then this is kind of the
They
Spider-Man
turn into
principle.
creeps.
Great
Yeah.
power, great responsibility. These people
Sure.
can't handle the power of visibility.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You couldn't
But,
handle it,
hey,
Brian.
Brian's going to be the guy because he's not. All he's using is to be left alone. So it's a way different perspective than the other people.
It's like more money, more power with visibility. The more you can become invisible, the more problems you have. You get yourself into some real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Next pick on the turn. A lot of people have this superhero power, but I sure as shit don't. And I want to be able to eat and drink anything I want and never gain weight. I hate these people so much.
I thought I was for sure gonna get that in my last pick. I don't know what is happening.
God, that would be a
I
great
love that.
superpower to have.
That's a great one. I love it.
The
That's so
people
good.
that have it don't even appreciate it.
No.
I mean,
No, we sure don't. We sure don't, guys.
I would just eat
Shut
absolute
up.
garbage all the time. And I would never stop.
Yep.
God, I'm so jealous.
Yep. And those people that do have it, they just nibble on stuff like little baby
Yeah.
birds.
Exactly.
They can't, I mean, they don't utilize that power.
What?
Like
Sounds
grown
a-
adults that still eat candy. The concept of that is just beyond me. But there are adults out there that eat Raisinets at their desk.
Like Raisinets, yeah.
Nibble on them all day,
I don't know.
every day.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I mean, what an asshole.
Not an ad. We are not sponsored yet by Raisinets, but I mean, there's open positions if you'd like to, Raisinets.
That's right.
Interesting. Yeah, that's all. That's all the pick. Rants.
My third pick, and I don't know if this has a specific name per se, but I want the superpower to be able to control the weather.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
if it's raining one day and I'm scheduled to golf, boom, I want the sun out, 70 degrees, I'm out golfing. And
Yep.
maybe I wake up one morning and I don't want to go teach. How about a big blizzard? Sorry, guys, we're done for a week. Can't
Wow.
my hands.
Out of my
I
hands.
can't. Yeah, there's something I can
It's
do
gonna
about
be
it.
gonna be a lot of crazy winters back to back to back down in down in Surrey.
Gosh, this is 37 days in a row.
37 straight blizzards every day at 7 a.m. It's crazy.
What is happening?
Perfect weather at the golf course, but nowhere else. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
I
up.
don't get it. I don't get it. But I think that'd be a great power to have.
Yeah, that was on my
Yeah,
list.
I like that.
I was in the same boat as far as I'm just gonna go play golf every day, and I'm gonna make it. But I'm gonna same with Kaiser saying I'm gonna make it rain everywhere in the city.
So you can
Except
just have the
over
whole
the
course to
landscape.
yourself, maybe. Yeah.
Over the landscape of the golf course is dry as a bone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about keeping a superpower under wraps? That might be the number one, because I feel like if that got out, then everybody'd be knocking on your door.
Yeah, that would
You gotta
keep quiet.
You can't use it a lot, I wouldn't think. I mean,
Uh-uh.
like with the blizzard deal, you couldn't do it 30 days in a row.
Yep. So I'm gonna pick my third pick, and it's gonna go complement my power of flight and my power of quick healing. I'm gonna be able to control things with my mind. Telekinesis, baby.
Yep. That was my
Like
next
along
on
the
board.
lines of stretching. I had stretching on my board. Telekinesis was slightly higher because the only thing better than actually physically doing something while you're sitting on the couch is just telling something to come to you. That's part of the reason I had kids, is just so I could be like, go get that for me. I don't want to get up right now.
That's awesome.
Where's the remote? Can you hand me that, please? Thank you. And they're learning great life skills. So being a parent is a superpower in and of
Good
itself.
helping skills.
If you don't have kids, you need the elasticity. If you have kids,
Bingo.
not as much.
Yep. Very good.
It's a good one.
Back to Kitty.
All right. Since that one's, let's see. I'm going to control animals too. I'm already controlling people. Now I'm controlling animals.
Complete
They
mind
will.
control of everything living.
Oh my
That's
God.
right.
He just
They're going to do so much of my bidding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
So
my
if you want
God.
a tiger to maul somebody,
Done and done. Uh-oh.
hey Tiger, why don't you go kill that guy?
There's been another attack at the zoo. It's just out of this zoo has got to shut down quickly. It's just too many days in a row where someone's somehow the monkey got out of the cage and just started attacking people. Oh, Harambe's out.
Slow news day. Better cause a zoo attack. Nothing serious, just something to entertain us all.
I think I would also use it to like ride dolphins in the ocean.
Oh,
Do some
absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Do some fun ocean
Yeah.
tricks. Maybe just hang out with the whales. Hang out with some killer whales. Watch them kill some great whites.
Jeez.
That'd be
Yeah.
the way to go.
Endless possibilities.
This sounds like a movie I'd watch.
Yep. I was gonna say this is like
Getting better.
Evan Almighty.
Just so many possibilities of so much fun with
Just
controlling
see
animals.
Kitty riding a group of whales that goes after illegal whalers.
Oh
There
yeah,
you go.
That's a reality show in and of itself.
that's a good move. Yeah, I like it.
Just see that you got a rope and you're just riding on their back. God, I'd watch the shit out of that show.
Cruising around,
Uh-huh.
leaning back.
I would watch that show. Kitty, back to you for the final pick for you.
All right, this is one I don't think I've seen anyone have. This is one of the out of the box ones. I want to be able to sober up immediately, no matter how drunk I am.
Oh, that's a good one. God, what a good answer. Just ruins your whole next day.
Exactly. You can just go out and get shit faced on the town. Come back to your apartment or house, 2:30 in the morning. Snap your fingers. Well, I'm sober now. All right, now I can go to
Mhm.
bed. Wake up next day perfectly refreshed, and I had all that fun with buddies and I get drunk. So there we go.
Yeah,
The immediate
that.
sober up.
Wow.
like it.
that's great. That's a good
Well,
one.
mine is completely in the box. Nobody's taking it somehow, so I'm going to be super strong.
Mhm.
I'm basically Superman at this point. I'm flying everywhere. I can lift a lot of heavy things. I mean, I'm the biggest superhero of them all.
Except for those stupid
Unstoppable.
rocks.
You are an unstoppable force.
Just
I'll just find
unstoppable
some-
for us.
Just got to find some green rocks to slow you down.
Well, yeah. Nobody knows what my weakness is. It might be pizza rolls.
Frozen. Only.
Straight frozen pizza rolls.
Just popping
a-
those
Just winging that.
frozen
Yeah,
pizza rolls.
can't
Can't
get away
not eat them. Yep. I just get weighed down. So my super strength and my flight family. I mean, that's a pretty solid plan. Rants, back to you.
Okay, my last pick is just kind of one I kind of created again. I mean, I think that you guys would probably benefit from this, working in an office, and that's just the power to mute somebody.
Yep.
Like if you're just sitting at your desk and they're just chirping at you and and just boom, you're muted and just you can just keep them muted. Like they don't have to talk the rest of the day. They keep their mouth shut, nothing comes out. If you're annoyed by them, if they bother you, boom, mute. You're done. You're finished.
We're done here.
Yeah, we're done here. This conversation's over.
Not sure if you didn't hear, but it is over.
Yeah. So the old mute button.
Did you get that memo? Very good.
So-
Brian, bring us home.
Last pick. It's kind of in the same vein as my previous picks, but I'm going shape shifting. I want to be able to. I want to be able to become anybody I wanted at the thought of it, and I mean, I can eat and drink whatever I want and just become someone else that's hot and shredded.
Like The Rock.
Like
You
exactly.
can become your best boy, The Rock.
I mean, like nobody's going to see your face as you ever again.
Right. No way.
I mean, nobody's going to see his face as anything
Yeah.
because he's teleporting and
And he's invisible, and now he's shape shifting.
Yeah.
So this is the last time we'll see Brian as Brian Kaiser.
I could go anywhere I want from now on, and I'll never be myself.
And be anybody you want.
You can just
Eat
blend
and
in.
drink.
No matter where you go in the world, you can just shapeshift somebody else and blend in. No one will even know you're there. Just kind of
Teleport and
go
shapeshift.
back in time. Perfect.
For someone
stuff.
whose dream job is social media influencer, you sure like to keep a low profile on the radar.
He's not in any of the photos. He's social media influencing. He's just doing something else with those
Yeah.
things.
He's
a travel-
Shapeshift into
travel
somebody
guy.
that already is a social media influencer.
He's a travel blogger.
unbelievable.
Not just social media influence.
Yep.
I mean, nobody will ever know. I mean, they'll never see him again.
Nope.
Not ever.
He's finished.
He's finished.
That's so good.
I like shape. Shapeshifting was on my board. I like
For
that one
sure.
a lot.
Yep. It's a good pick. Just an interesting combo. You sure weren't kidding when you're like, I didn't really plan on these being related to each other. All right.
We're ranking powers. We're not saying build your superhero.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a bold prediction that Brian's not gonna be at the top of this vote this week.
God dang it.
Well, I'm not. He'll beat me out, but I just stuck with my guns.
You wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You might have some dark horse because I'm gonna guess that a lot of the sink pissers are some real couch potatoes as well. So I'm gonna guess that a lot of people are having the same dream as you.
Super endurance.
Yep. It might be the most controversial 102 pick of all time.
Pretty sure I probably have one of those in there somewhere too.
We're probably all guilty of it at this point. Let's move on to the waiver watch.
Yeah.
Hit it.
What to watch on TV? It's got to be something I've never seen. Waiver Watch.
What a great song from I'm not gonna say where it's from. Y'all know.
Yeah, we all do now.
Y'all
We
know.
all remember.
Waiver Watch for this week. I'm going to start with I know Brian and I probably have the same one, so I'm going to start with Brian. Brian, what's your Waiver Watch for this week?
Yep, it's the latest season of Last Chance U on Netflix. Laney College out in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go out there and say it's my favorite season so far. Just from the fact that you're rooting for everybody that's featured in this thing. You're not dealing with some kind of asshole coach. It's just by the end of it, you just hope loses everything.
Yep.
At the end, you're still hoping these guys win and do well. I think one of my low-key favorite parts of this season was how the assistant coaches are apparently regulars at this dive bar, because they just showed them in there. Well, it seemed like every night they're just in there with slamming Coors Lights and shots of whiskey.
Yep.
I mean,
shit talking everything in sight.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep. Highly recommend it.
You're right. You finally get a coach that you're rooting for. There's not that standout prima donna guy that you hate. Even like the stud cornerback was like still pretty supportive at the end of the season. He wasn't playing, but he was still super supportive and still seemed like a team guy. Plenty of guys were – there wasn't that many seemingly academic problems, because it seems to be like the big thing with these players is they're like completely there for football. They're not interested in doing any kind of classwork. So these guys are certainly seem to be, at least remotely checked into the schoolwork. So that was good to see. And the part, usually there's like there's usually like some letdown in the high stakes of the season. We're going for the national ship. These guys are just playing for the California state championship in college, which I had no idea existed.
And the biggest difference, I think, this one to previous is they don't live in dorms. Like all these guys have to find a way to get home every night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty wild some of the treks these guys have to make. And they get into a bunch of the gentrification of Oakland in this. And so it brings a lot of different things that you haven't seen before in Last Chance U, I think.
Definitely not in this show. Yep. Yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I'd probably go out on a limb saying it was probably my favorite season too.
Yep.
It's tough to not see that guy from Independence, Kansas College, just motherfucking everybody up the sideline. And this, Coach Ream does that too, but you always kind of feel like he's trying to help him in the end. So,
yep,
seems like a good dude. Definitely rooting for him and rooting for all the people there. Let's go to Kitty.
All right. So I didn't really watch anything new this week because I was just busy watching sports. So I'm going to go back a couple weeks. Something I watched, which I hadn't seen before, but it really kind of almost was a little too real. V for Vendetta. Not sure if anyone you guys have seen that one.
Yep.
But
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
kind of bit of a not so much a post-apocalyptic world, but more just a post-government has taken control of the populist world. Really kind of was a little too real of what's been going on in the last few months in
You need
America
to save this lecture for the Heartland pod.
You might want to wait to watch V for Vendetta a couple more years if you haven't seen it yet. So
You said it's not a post-apocalyptic, but it might be pre-apocalyptic.
yeah, very much so. So it was really good. I really enjoyed it, but it's like that's hitting too close to home right now.
No.
So I really wish I hadn't seen that one. Lost a couple months.
I did go out and watch Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 1999.
Yeah,
What's
You weren't
the
kidding
Brawl-
about the
what was
the
that
gore.
one?
just
Vince
the goal. It's
Vaughn
the
is
one
in
of Vince
prison.
Vaughn goes to. Oh, you did. That was on last week's. Yeah, Vince Vaughn's in prison and he just starts beating dudes up in hand-to-hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Which-
really kind of dropped off, hadn't he?
A lot of broken bones.
You were so quick to replace Liam Neeson with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Brawl in Cell Block 99 was basically like a late Steven Seagal movie where an old dude is moving around slower than everybody, but they've choreographed it enough and shot it at the right angle that he's appearing like he's breaking everybody's bones.
Have you seen
When
Taken?
has Vince Vaughn been an ass kicker? Like when has he beaten
Not
people up?
never.
This
No.
one in this movie.
It's that one, yep.
Everybody's like, those muscles for show. And I'm just like, I see a pudgy 55-year-old.
Former boxer, Josh.
Apparently he does a lot of former things.
got a lot of power in those punches. That's what he's doing.
I mean, it was still a good movie. It was just ridiculous premise.
Okay, I've had this about enough of you.
I can tell Kitty's face. He's had it, Josh.
That's ridiculous.
I will
Ridiculous.
say, I think Bone Tomahawk was way gorier, and it was still pretty. Both of them are really good. I'd still, if you can handle gore in any capacity, well, I shouldn't say any capacity. It was pretty
Right.
gory.
Like the in the scene or whatever, the last fight scene, the sounds that there's made. Oh no.
Yeah, Brawl Cell Block for sure. Yeah.
That's tough.
Brutal. Good though.
Yep.
Mom, if you're watching this, Bone Tomahawk is a Western. Do not watch it.
Nope.
You are
It's
going
not like
to hate
Lonesome Dove.
it. Slightly different.
No Bonanza.
Just a bit different. Rance, we'll go to you for the final waiver watch.
Well, like I said, Kitty was saying, I've watched a ton of sports this week, but I did find some time over the past few days to watch Fear City on Netflix. Just a short watch, just 3 episodes, just a little documentary about the New York mob. It talks about 5 different families. Don't ask me to pronounce them, but they're all in the mob, and how the mob had their hands basically in everything in the 70s and 80s, whether that was like the fishing industry or, dry cleaning, even restaurants, bars. I mean, they were making money, left and right, and basically killing people whenever they wanted. And just, it talks about the FBI and the links that, that they go to try to catch them in the act or, take them down. So it's really interesting. It's a good watch. It's a short watch. So, I mean, I would recommend that to anybody that's got a few hours, to sit down and watch that. So
I'm in for that.
I'm surprised it's only 3 episodes. That seems like something I would need to get divulged into and dissected a little bit more.
yeah, I thought it would be longer too, but it's not. So
Called Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
That'll give you more than 3 hours.
3 7-hour episodes. Buckle up. It's a Ken Burns doc.
yeah.
Well, that's going to do it here for the Clearing Waivers podcast for this week. We appreciate, like I said, everybody tuning in and checking us out. I gave you the wrong schedule on the fly. We decided to change our live premieres to every Wednesday afternoon at noon. That's what we're going to do it over our YouTube channel. So if you haven't got on there, you can go onto YouTube, search Clearing Waivers, and we should pop up. You can subscribe and like that channel, hit that bell so you know whenever we're going to go live, you know where we are. We're going to be doing our live comments through that. Everything can be done through there. So definitely join us for those. If you can't make those, we'll always have them posted there on the channel as well. So if you need to catch up, they're going to be on the YouTube channel. If audio is more your thing, go to a podcast provider near you. You're probably already listening to it. That's where we've been. But yeah, we always do that first thing Wednesday mornings as well. But thanks again to Max Rieper joining us at Royals Review. Go check out our content over at royalsreview.com. Check out their podcast, Royals Review Radio. Very good stuff there. Go also check out the Heartland Pod with Adam Summer. Great stuff as well, especially with the timing of the elections and stuff coming up. But other than that, for Brian and Kitty and Rance and myself, we do appreciate you once again. Ta-ta for now.
The day is done. Now the night has begun. the flames. Don't go, oh, somebody walking away. Hold your body close to the flames. Don't go, oh, somebody walking away. Oh, a loaded gun. Pressed against my brow, 'cause I wonder how all this undone. Holding fast to a vow, 'cause I laugh aloud. 'Cause I have faith that nobody else can protect you, no. My pages burning will all be dead under virgin snow. I have faith that nobody else can protect you, no. My pages burning will all be dead under virgin snow. So hold your body close to the flames. Don't go, somebody walking away. Oh, hold your body close to the flames. Don't go, somebody walking away. Oh. Hold your body close to the flame.